These are all targeted maybe towards Diamond, but you got to think St. Vicious is going to have a plan of, okay, if we're going to ban these out, what am I going to go with? Is it going to be an Alistair maybe?
Well, he's done Mundo a whole lot this tournament so far. That's been extremely popular with the North American teams. Leenock actually, I believe, ran at both games against Dignitas, if I recall correctly. There's that Shyvana ban yet again from CLG. They're targeting those three champions, if I'm predicting this correctly, that the Shen ban out there from Moscow 5, apparently they don't want to play him, although, again, they have first pick, and Shen was always this highly contended champion. Ari being banned out against Big Fat LP, he did run her at least 3 times, and there's the Gangplank Shyvana. Lee Sin banned that trio, and interesting.
See, that's a dangerous thing. I mean, especially as a Rise. Rise can get counted quite early on, and there's a lot of counters to Rise because he lacks that range early on, but Alex is a very good Rise player.
Yeah. He's exceptionally good. He's very good at not getting ganked, although St. Vicious is an exceptional ganker, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Exhaust Mundo come out here. Udyr, another great choice here as well, a very aggressive laner, or sorry, aggressive jungler, or top lane, of course, the Hotshot could play him. But Ryze I like as a first pick mage because Ryze has less lane counters than otherwise. You know, if you first pick something like Karthus, you've kind of left yourself wide open to someone like Kassadin or Fizz, who can really kind of ruin your day. But Ryze, you know, has an average matchup at worst in his lanes, and so he's a very sort of safe first pick, and they may want to go for the counter lanes everywhere else, and now we're seeing this Twisted Fate locked in, so immediately the mid lanes have been grabbed here, and CLG using this Destiny to try to drop these counter junglers, and we're going to see if that works out for him.
Yeah, that's not a bad call. That's going to be a do or die move, though, I've got to feel. You know, if he goes in there and M5 actually react pretty quick, it's pretty squishy to dive in there. He's going to have to hit them yellow cards perfectly. Janna being picked up here. We've seen Janna, I think, in every single game so far. It's either been banned or picked.
It's close to that. It's not quite 100%, but it's probably been in about 80% of the games so far. Moscow 5 specifically have been grabbing her, I believe, every time they've been able to. I remember gearing up for the Moscow 5 SK match, which was, I believe, one of the final matches of the group stage there. Yeah, both teams had grabbed her whenever available or banned her otherwise, and Moscow 5 continuing that trend, grabbing Janna whenever they could.
So Irelia now picked up as well top lane, something we've seen Darian on before. He is very aggressive with Irelia. I think he was one of the first champions actually at Kiev before they really showed their hand, you know, and he was already in there taking the Wraiths and the blue, I believe. Obviously they're going to be as the blue team, so it's going to be looking towards, we're going to keep our eye on that red and the golems on the top there, because that could be where it goes towards between. But we're waiting for CLG to make their 2 picks. I would expect a top lane and a support maybe. So support Alistair coming out there. We're going to assume it's support Alistair, and Hotshot looking like it's going to go with Swain on that top lane again. I
like the Swain pick a lot. Swain is really, really good against these champions. You need to really get into melee range and physically attack you. And Irelia is one of those where she has really no range tools outside of her ultimate. And yeah, they do pick this Alistair here. Now, the one thing to be worried about is we saw this in the very first matchup with CLG versus Dignitas, where they ran basically 4 melee champions against a Janna. And the thing is, I mean, they haven't picked their full bottom lane yet. What if that is Blitzcrank? What if they run the same, almost the same strategies before, but taking Twisted Fate instead of Urgot? I mean, that's certainly a possibility here. Looks like Nocturne's going to be the grab there, so that's his de facto, hey, I can't get Lee Sin, Janna, or sorry, I can't get Lee Sin, Gangplank, and Shyvana. Well, it's going to be Nocturne, and oh, interesting.
Yes. Genji's run this a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah, so Urgot, we've seen him at the very first game of day 1, which was CLG, and I don't think we've seen him since. So we'll see if Urgot is going to be the lock-in here. The Nocturne pick I do like a lot. I think it's kind of interesting to grab that. You almost kind of think about it like Fnatic does this a bit, where they go Twisted Fate plus a Nocturne as sort of as a composition to go gank any lane they want at any time. But they don't need to deny the Nocturne. They just actually really want that champion for themselves.
So they've actually built some pretty strong heroes here. So Ryze is going to be fairly tanky later on when he gets the Glacial Shroud, etc. built up. Urgot is generally built pretty tanky. Nocturne can be very strong as well. Irelia definitely will be the last person you go for. So actually they've built a fairly strong team there. But so have CLG. The question is, where's the damage going to come from? Vayne now being picked up. Yeah, it does make sense. So that's going to be a very strong, a dangerous bottom lane. So obviously Alistair and Vayne's going to be a strong combo. Cleanse is being picked up across the board, I would guess, between these two. Actually, no, it's only going to be double if it's going to go with that Cleanse. And Clairvoyance, this is an interesting one that the European teams generally always stick with without clairvoyance, yet the American teams, especially CLG, barely use this anymore.
Yeah, and something I'm kind of intrigued by as well is that Doublelift almost always runs cleanse on his AD carries. He tends to not get into skirmishes early on, which usually you run heal because the burst of health really helps you win those skirmishes, but Doublelift tends to rely on farming and tends to rely on sort of going for late game, which is why he runs champions like Vayne so very often, so very well, of course, as Vayne is exceptionally good, and sort of relies on that late game gameplay, and then of course can use cleanse to remove exhaust or stuns and slows in the leg. But it's interesting because Chowster is actually bringing exhaust, which is kind of one of those more aggressive type summoner spells where you would often use exhaust to pick up kills in lane. Now that said, you go the other way with it and say, no, he's going to babysit late game, and if he gets jumped on by Aurelia or Nocturne, use the exhaust there and try to drop the DPS off of that champion and still let Doublelift be this late game carry. And you look at this team comp and you're like, Twisted Fate kind of in the back, able to poke very, very well, throw out a lot of damage that way. Udyr up in the front, being incredibly disruptive, throwing out a lot of damage himself, and then Alistair gets to sit back and protect gets to protect Vayne, and then you kind of got to figure, well, what openings do you now have if you're Moscow 5? Do you try to burst Swain? Do you burst Udyr? Are you think you're actually going to catch up with Vayne with invisibility and an Alistair with exhaust? And she's got cleanse. Like, there's a lot of really smart things here from CLG where. Where's your opening exactly? I mean, are you going to flash Urgot, swap Vayne, and that's your ticket in? I mean, it could work, honestly. You've got Janna in there, so once you swap Vayne, Janna could flash, ult everyone back, get the free kill, cleanse and invisibility or not, Vayne will die at that point. And maybe that's going to be the strategy. And, I mean, that could work very, very well for Moscow 5.
So which way do you think this is going to go? I do this with Joe all the time. Where's your money on? CLG or Moscow 5? Best of 3 and just this game.
Best of 3 CLG this game. I don't know. I think Moscow 5 they're going to throw out everything they need and take this one up. So, but of course, don't let the predictions fool you. We got the game going on. So give it up for these teams: Counter Electric Gaming and Moscow 5.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So in case you missed all the picks and bans, it is a long process, but a very, very important process in these games. Let's give you a quick roster rundown. It is Moscow 5, the Russian team, the champions of Kiev here in the World Championships in CeBIT Hanover. It is going to be Alex Each on Rise in the middle. It's going to be Genja down the bottom as Urgot. Diamonds will be in the jungle as Nocturne, which I'm trying to think whether we have actually seen him on Nocturne before. I'm not too sure whether we saw him in Kiev at least. Ghostly Pepper will be down the bottom on Janna, and Darian at the top will be on Aurelia. I'm just checking to see if there's any crazy invades coming from these guys. We know they do love to get in there early, and CLG laying out very nicely, as are Moscow 5. Very tense stuff because it is the semi-finals of the World Championships. Dignitas await in the finals. We've just seen them going 2-0 against All Authority, and wow, what a game that was. So for CLG, it is a fairly strong tanky lineup. St. Vicious will be in the jungle. He's going to be on Udyr. Hotshot GG will be at the top there. Probably one of the most famous players, I think it's safe to say, in League of Legends. He will be on Swain. Down the bottom, it will be Doublelift on Vayne. And he's just put it back, actually. With him in support will be Alistair on the cow. We saw the cow earlier with Blitzstar, or Blitzcrank and Alistair. Big Fat LP will be in the middle, though, on Twisted Fate. And you know what? There's a lot of ganking potential, a lot of hit points as well. Not any invades, though, coming out early on. Did I just miss the Wraiths being taken there? I think it did.
No, they all went back. Blitz went up, Alistair went up to put a ward down, but Doublelift had actually pulled back to, looks like grab a 4th potion to get into the lane, so really wants to get that late game going. Grab the 4th health potion, is now kind of trailing his minion line down into the lane. Alistair helping out St. Vicious with the pickup on blue. Did use smite there, so he wasn't going for like an early red with a fast smite. Slightly ahead of Diamond there at Nocturne, so we'll see if that pans out well. That 2-second advantage there. We're going to see what happens with this one.
Yeah, so of course, like you mentioned, the smite being used early up. Urgot also took the golems away down the bottom lane, so he will have that slight experience advantage. You can see he's already built up. But Udyr in that race, just keeping up with these two. They are doing identical paths as well. You can see their headbutt already coming down towards Genja there, so taking that early damage. Now Genja's going to be very strong early. Expected to see a little bit of harassment between these two. Clairvoyance has just been used on the red. They've just come to vision of St. Vicious, so no crazy early invades just yet, Freak.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, guys, if you're hearing a little bit of audio, we've actually got my video and D-Man's game sound, so Maybe we can change that around a little bit. But looking up at top lane, Darian doing a little bit of harassment against Hotshot GG. Darian now sitting in the brush, though. This is kind of what I expected from this matchup, where Hotshot, because he's got that range there on Swain, he's going to be really good at poking down on someone like Aurelia, who, even though she opened up Boots 4 potions, is very afraid of what can happen here. And you can see there's a couple of tasty minions available for last hitting, but he's going to be afraid of them.
He's going to be afraid of them. So how do we think Alex is going to match up with Big Fat LP? Like we mentioned, Big Fat LP has been playing fantastically well throughout this tournament. Then again, so has Alex. They are both at the top of their game, and they are really peaking at the right time. A lot of questions went out against Big Fat LP in previous tournaments. You know, they were saying, oh, he wasn't practicing enough, but he certainly seems to have put the work in for this one. And as it is at the moment, he is running, I think, the top stats of the tournament.
Yeah, he's definitely got the best kill assist to death ratio. As far as minions, you know, again, Alex is the winner there. But you know, dying, of course, does matter quite a bit as well. See, Hotshot and Darian actually have their lanes pretty much frozen. There's almost no difference at all in the minion health. And there we go, Darian actually jumping in onto Hotshot. A lot of pain going off there. Hotshot not in the happiest place, but Kansas stand up with one of those health potions. We'll see if he can keep that going.
Yeah, so we're just keeping the eye on the junglers. They've both been back to buy. You can see St. Vicious now coming back with that double buff. Has picked up a Ruby Crystal early on. Meanwhile, Nocturne has come back. He's got that double buff as well. Has gone with the boots and cloth with those pots and the wards. So jungler's going to be placing some early wards out. They're very cautious of each other. Like we mentioned about these two junglers, they are very aggressive. So I guess St. Vicious is going to place something down on this river, or will he go for a kill? And Darian is actually quite far up lane. They could get catch out. I'm looking at both kills actually. Big Fat LP being dived on. Meanwhile at the top there, I'm going to try and look across. But he will go down in the middle there, but he looks like Darian is going to go down as well. He's not going to be able to escape this one unless he does something special. He will get caught out. He manages to juke back. Will it be enough? The ignite goes down on him. Surely he will go down. Tries to go for the stun, and a double kill. Quick engage, and thank God I managed to catch them both.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching the top lane there. Darian actually not even burning his ignite, knowing he did not have enough damage to pick off anyone, but Big Fat LP with now 0 summoners. Hotshot actually still has his flash, which means he can play aggressively in this lane and still get away from some pretty crazy ganks.
Bottom lane, they're carrying up towards Chowster there, but you can see big double LP, double lift even, keeping them at bay. And Chowster taken very low. We won't go back. He has chewed through all these pots, though. Expected to see that Genja being very aggressive. He did start with that Doran's Blade as well, so he will be very, very strong. He'll hurt a lot, and as soon as he manages to catch someone, get that lock on, he will slow them down as well. And like you mentioned, Double Lift has come back. Big Fat LP, I'm getting my names all wrong today. Big Fat LP has come back towards the mid. He has bought that Doran's Ring there, so he's going to be doing a bit more ability power, but he's going to be hurting. It's never good when you go 1-0 down in your lane.
Yeah, absolutely the case here, and the kill... the kill went to Hotshot, so Hotshot has a really good advantage over Aurelia, but on the other side, the kill went to Nocturne and not to Rise. So Big Fat LP is not going to have as bad of a disadvantage there as Darian's going to have. So we're going to see if Hotshot can press his advantage. Darian's still actually playing aggressively against Hotshot on top. The root will whiff there, and he's going to push Darian back away from him after camping in brush. And as soon as Hotshot hits 6, he's going to have a much easier time in this lane. Darian's still actually not yet 5.
An interesting ward placement, obviously. Remember, they are playing against Nocturne, so they've actually gone a lot further down the lane. You can see he's managed to place it way down in that river. Just very cautious of Nocturne coming out. And Diamonds has found Big Fat LP here, switching up towards that card, trying his best to find it. Gosu Pepper comes up, gets the Howling Gale across. They are trying to pick on Big Fat LP. I think he's going to be able to get away. No, he's going to get caught out by Diamond, and that will be a second kill. And it's a second kill for Nocturne. Meanwhile, at the top there, Darian's been caught out of position again. St. Vicious diving in towards him. Darian, he's going to get caught by the Never Move. Actually, no, he just managed to juke out of it and stuns Hotshot there. I think St. Vicious will get the stun on him just about in time. He does get the slow down. Darian is going to be very low. He will get taken down, and well, kills exchange yet again. This time though, it was Hotshot again that picked it up. Nocturne picking it up. Like you mentioned, they're putting the damage down on that middle tower, but this is a very close game already.
Yep, absolutely. And despite the fact that you can see CLG actually winning now by 600 gold just by pure mechanical skill and last hitting, and a lot of that's because Hotshot is zoning out Darian a fair amount there. You can see the minion advantage quite nice, and actually translating some of that early advantage into again, this fast oracles with St. Vicious. We saw that earlier on him, and they were going for blue, but they're like, wait, mid's missing, and Big Fat LP is not in a good place right now. We don't want to give away more kills than we have to.
Yeah, they weren't really in the way to go for it, and actually Diamonds picks it up. He doesn't give it Alex, so...
He smited it. He definitely wanted it. I think they just... I don't know, it's weird, because he used smite on it, and again, Alex has his
tier.
Yeah, he has a tier already, so he doesn't necessarily need the mana super heavily, but it's still a little bit surprising to me.
Nevertheless, the top lane hotshot GG is being fed quite well. So going with that Doran's got that catalyst down there as well early on. Double Doran's blade for double lift down the bottom here, and a Vampiric Scepter. Meanwhile, you can see that Urgot is building up. He's got that second Doran's now along with boots. Just seeing Big Fat LP going across. He will pick up the blue buff. So the question is, do they feel confident enough to think, you know what, actually we could steal a blue buff away from them. We're just going to kill him in the mid and get it ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way to do that, actually, that worked for him twice so far. I don't see why they couldn't do it again. And now, of course, they do have Nocturne's got to be 6 by now. He's 7, actually. Actually, some aggression at top lane. Darien fighting Hotshot, both using their ults, which is great because they work kind of similarly. They deal damage and they heal for the damage dealt. And so you're kind of seeing them both trade back to decent places. But Hotshot about to have a big minion wave at his turret. Will last at a couple of these, but it's going to get a little bit difficult for him. There's his ult for him being used to help with the last hitting. I'm going to see if he can get much more gold out of this.
Oh, just catch down the bottom there. They have gone towards Gosu Pep. You can see Big Fat LP. It was actually Jouster that picked up the kill, though. That's less than ideal. You can see the lock-on continuing from Genja there, trying to get on towards Big Fat LP. So the support player going down. And you know what? His supports, it's not good when your support gets it, especially when Big Fat LP was hurting there. Had to use his ulti to get down there, so they're going to realize that's not available. We are at the 9-minute mark. I'm trying to think of the timer on that. It's actually quite a long one. It's in 70 seconds. So it will be up plenty of time before they even start thinking about Dragon. So Alex returning to mid. He has got that tier and the Ruby Crystal, building up towards that catalyst. Nocturne again coming around, but he will walk straight past that wall.
Actually, Devil pushing in on Gunja at bottom real quick. He used Final Hour, did not push in far enough into the turret to get the stun, but he popped the ult to go for some damage.
While at the top, you can see Darien and Hotshot trading again with them ultis. This is going to be a very close one, despite the fact Hotshot has got that clear advantage early on. The fact is, Aurelia, once you get a minion wave, it's very hard to really go against him. But, you know, Hotshot, like you say, he is a very, very similar character. But I think the farming between these, it may go on for a while.
Yeah, I think, and that's Hotshot's kind of forte there. He will play aggressively and deal some damage. You've seen the ganks work so very well for St. Vicious before. And actually, if you look, there was no ward coverage for Darien. You know, we've seen this before. We saw it against Solo Mid, we saw it against Curse, where they pretty much camped, the enemy team would then camp top lane and just wrecked the Rain Man and Sidka respectively. And it was when they were on Aurelia especially, and Alstot was saying that you really can't let an Aurelia free farm forever. And the thing is, it looks like Saint would have pretty easy ganks here. I'm surprised they haven't come back and sort of renewed that, hey, let's go kill top lane role.
Well, as soon as you mention it, you can see him moving on the map, and he's like, well, that's not a bad idea, Freak. I think I might do that. So you can see Nocturne actually is in a position ready, and they're going to dive on towards Hotshot. Hotshot is going to get taken very low, but I'm not too sure if his ulti is going to tick down. He will manage to get a kill, though. I don't think he's going to get out. Big Fat LP comes in, uses his ulti on towards Diamonds, hasn't got the stun card, goes for the slow instead. Oh, fail flash from Diamonds. That will be definitely a kill, and that is going to hurt. And you know what? The fact is, while that was all happening, Alexic sort of started to move towards there and then chose not to, and that would have made a big difference.
Oh man, he could have shown up in time too. That flash, it's going to really hurt him. We saw a flash, you know, work earlier over that cliff before, just slight mistake there by Diamonds. It gave away a kill they didn't have to. And this time, actually, still Big Fat not getting these kills. He's 0-2-2, so with the assist, he's back to being worth 300 gold, so the kills on him are going to be rather useful, but he does want himself some more money. 83 minions there, actually doing okay. I mean, 92 for Ryze is still higher, but he's now got 2 assists, so that's going to equalize that pretty quickly.
So down the bottom, like you say, Genja is, well, 86 CS to 78, so pretty even between these two. You can see Berserker Grooves has been bought by Double Lift. He waits in prone position. They really want to try and get some ganks off now. They're starting to get to that stage where they think they can actually do some damage to Genja. They have to be careful they don't get ulti transitioned in towards the tower, though. And it's really all about this top lane. That's where they seem to be ganking very successfully. And again, you can see they go for it. They are very aggressive, these top two. Darien using his dash to get out of there and just probably lay down a fair bit of damage to Hotshot GG. That was a pretty good exchange from him, considering he's 0-3-1. He's actually still trying to keep it even there. Obviously, the best nerf earlier after this tournament again, because you can never nerf him enough. And he goes in again. Hotshot using his ulti. He's going to be low on mana, though. Remember, Darien will not have enough mana to keep in there. And Hotshot GG could try and finish this one off. Just managed to get the bird, never move, had to force the flash though. Meanwhile, down the bottom here, you can see St. Vicious catching on towards Diamonds. Diamonds will come across. Alex managed to get the prison down. I think they're just going to let him back away from there, although the stun card comes on towards Alex, and now St. Vicious getting very aggressive. Gosu Pepper coming down, hop up, throws the Howling Gale across. St. Vicious just about going to back away from this one. Alex was taken very low. Gosu Pepper playing the great support there and blasting them away from that Monsoon. Very close exchanges still, Freak.
Yeah, that was absolutely close. Good job by both teams. Their supports came over, and either one of them could have forced that fight in the other way.
You can see they've gone down towards Genja. He tried to use his ulti to get down there, but Genja was clear to get away from that one. I think he pulled the red card and not the yellow, so that would have been a quick kill, but it didn't happen for them.
Yeah, Mantine did flash, so that at the very least they did burn flash away from Genja. That's going to help him out in getting that kill. And actually, this is not the first time we've seen failed gold cards from Twisted Fate players.
And it's an interesting thing that they do. I mean, whether they're just trying to do it so quick that they don't pull it before they go, because most people, you know, you pull it before you go there.
I mean, it's got to be nerves. It has to be.
Well, they're on a huge stage. I mean,
sure.
it is a massive stage, don't get me wrong. They are probably the best AP players in the world right here.
Yeah.
We are at the World Championships. This is the semi-finals. This is the place they need to be. And, you know, you wouldn't be human if you didn't have nerves in this place.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. But, I mean, still, you know, Big Fat LP is a player who's been playing pretty much since beta and specifically. But here's the swap on
down the bottom.
Yeah, Doublelift not in a great shape. A good headbutt there away onto Genji, but Diamond still chasing down Doublelift with the lock-on on there still. Exhaust onto Nocturne, doing a lot of good stuff, and he gets out actually, but here comes St. Vicious into the fray. Chester popped. Oh, no, they're not going to want to fight this. CLG going to back away. And now at the top lane, some more aggression. Hotshot fighting Darien, and they're just going to keep trading back and forth. And now that Hotshot ult has ended, Darien going to try to get a little bit of health back here. See if he can get himself back up to a decent stage. He's not been able to push back Hotshot yet, though.
So how's this faring up? You can see there is a 2k gold advantage to CLG. They are farming very well at the moment. We are seeing St. Vicious with that Oracles on. Obviously, he's been very successful in these games. 2-0-2 right now, having to get up towards that top very clearly and clearing out those wards around the dragon.
Top lane. Hold on, Hotshot. No, never mind. He's going to back away and be fine. We keep seeing them push at each other, but they're sustaining themselves quite nicely. But now, yeah, CLG's going for Dragon.
The Dragon is on. And you know what? I don't think Moscow 5 are really in a position to actually do this. They realised Nocturne had gone back. The Howling Gale comes across. I don't think they're going to be able to get in and steal this one unless they pull off something spectacular. And that will be CLG picking up the first Dragon. Very nicely played. Chouster being caught out there by Genji. And you can see Genja actually doing quite a bit of damage already. He has managed to get that Brutalizer to go with those double Doran. So he is starting to hurt. If he's going to get a lock onto a Vayne, maybe he will be able to take him down. But the question is, will the Vayne will just use his ulti and go in Viz, like you're saying, get out away from there.
Well, the one thing you can see at bot lane, though, despite the earlier kills that came in, we've actually seen that Genja is actually still beating Doublelift in minion kills, so that lane actually winning ever so slightly. But that said, I think CLG's late game for this bot lane is better.
Yeah, Vayne is a scary, scary thing late game. And Genja, well, he's going to have to... we saw him before, and he builds very, very tanky. And actually, you know, he just tanks up the damage. Obviously, people are thinking, right, let's get the AD carry. And then actually, he can take a lot of damage. I'm not too sure how this is going to go. It's going to be about the targeting. I don't think Big Fat LP is going to survive very long in late-game team fights.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a difficulty there. I mean, Twisted Fate, he's not really building that tanky. You can see the double Doran's ring then immediately into a death cap. That's going to give him really good burst and really good poke, and they can use that pretty successfully to push down turrets. And for those ganks as well, you've seen him come into these fights at least twice now and have pretty successful destinies. But yeah, we're going to see what happens late game. You've got amazing displacement here from Moscow 5. Both Aurelia and Nocturne can dive, and you've got Urgot and Janna who can really mess with the enemy positions. We'll see if that pans out well or poorly for them. We've seen fail swaps before, and we've seen amazing swaps before.
Oh, Doublelift's been locked on. He might go down here. You can see Genja trying his best. Can they catch him with a Howling Gale? No, Big Fat LP is going to come in and support them. And actually, Gosu Pepper using the ulti. Meanwhile, you can see Diamonds driving in. Can they get a lock on? Oh, they did get a lock on. Very nicely played. Now they're on towards Chouster. Chouster has popped his ulti to try and get away from this one. Will he be slowed enough by Doublelift? Yes, he will. He's going to get caught out, and that's going to even up the kills. It will be all square. Look back towards the top. You can see Darien and Hotshot also trading blows. It is a little bit too late for him, though, and you can see Hotshot actually winning out slightly in that encounter. I think both used Ignite there, so Darien taken very low by Hotshot, but that is definitely pulled things even. You can see the gold still 2k behind, though, so the farming is still going the way of CLG, as you'd expect.
Yeah, but Hotshot definitely doing a really good job of crushing this lane, and despite that kill sort of push right there, still almost 3,000 gold, 2,400 really the advantage for CLG, and a lot of it is Hotshot ultimately winning this lane. I think St. Vicious gave a lot of that early on, was part of the reason Hotshot's winning. You look at the minions and it's 102 to 106, and you're like, well, geez, if St. hadn't ganked him 3 times, would Darien just be winning this lane?
Well, that's the question. I mean, would he? And will he come back? You know damn well he's going to get strong later on. Has picked up that recursive bow now. And Alex continuing to farm well in the middle as well. 1-0-1 Alex. 0-2-2 Big Fat LP. But you remember a certain Twisted Fate fanatic Dignitas? He was about 10 to 12 kills down, but he was still causing so many problems because he was just going around the map and using his ulti to come and support as and when he needed it. Managed to backdoor very well. It's something we saw in the World Cyber Games 2010. Remember you and me back on stage way back then and,
remember that one,
for CLG versus I think it was SK Gaming, wasn't it, back then? And you know, that's when the American community suddenly went, Twisted
TF's still good.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. and back here we are again. TF's still good. So we'll see if Big Fat can get himself these items pretty soon. He's at 1,400 gold, so he can buy a death cap. And the longer you wait on this, kind of the worse off it's going to be for him because he's going to want that power surge. Alex already has Banshee's Veil. You can see 118 magic resist, also with Mercury Treads. So he's not going to get shut down by this TF almost at all. Saint waiting out for the wings. They might go for some aggression here. I think they're waiting for Big Fat to knock off that Banshee's Veil with some wild cards and then go in for a gold card stun.
Yeah, and he's not falling for a hot shot, was also lurking. Meanwhile, you can see Darian actually having a little dive on towards double lift there. Does back away wisely because he sees St. Vicious charging up the river. Oh, and he's got caught up because he hasn't got that tower. Big Fat LP gets the stun in there. Darian is trying to dash away from this one. Will be able to get the cover of Alex Ich though, and I think he's just going to Rune Prison up and blast a few shots in towards St. Vicious' face, and he'll back away. Meanwhile, Hotshot was also trying to cut them off. Blue buff has spawned though, so will they cut across towards it? They haven't got any ward vision of it, so I don't think they're going to be able to get in there in time. Alex Ich will take this one away. This time I don't think Diamond's going to smite it off.
Nope, not going to happen this time around. And we can see Genja, though, actually has been staying bot lane. You can see 159 minions, actually ahead of the Twisted Fate. So again, you know, we looked at some of the stats before and how, you know, the winning and losing lanes, where they're still farming really, really well. Again, we saw Darian was keeping up with Hotshot GG, and now you see Twisted Fate, even though he opened up 0-2, highest minions on his team, and actually out TSing Alex Ich, which is very surprising considering the earlier sort of average stats of, you know, how much he was normally dominating in minion kills.
And so ping goes down just as red buff spawns, and I think that's a case of, is Genja going to come back and get it? No, I don't think so. It's just going to be Nocturne. We'll pick that up and take it away. So at the moment it stands that Doublelift is farming up this top lane, and like you mentioned, the farming, Doublelift has fell quite far behind Genja in that stakes. Meanwhile, Rise is keeping quite close to Big Fat LP, but Big Fat LP doing a great job considering the fact he got ganked twice early on and has managed to keep the CS up. St. Vicious is going to be giving the blue buff to Hotshot possibly here. No, Twisted Fate's going to come across and pick it up, so Big Fat LP is like, no, really, I want that. I'll have it, thanks. Hotshot, go do your thing. And actually, interesting enough, you know, normally at this point of the game, Hotshot is off farming on his own. He's not doing that. I'm a little concerned about that. He has got the Rod of Ages completed, but
yeah, like
last time I saw him, he kind of, every time CLG do well, it's Hotshot off farming on his own.
Yeah, and I think that's, they're sort of choosing as a team, and normally Hotshot plays these super hyper carries like Udyr or Aurelia, where their job really is to just be the most threatening champion on the team, and Doublelift is like that secondary carry there. But in this case, Doublelift is Vayne and Hotshot is Swain. And Swain's super strong, and actually you can see Moscow 5 going for the dragon there, but and yeah, CLG not even going to contest. They're going to actually go for it. No, they're not going to go for the turret instead. I'm surprised they could have gotten some free pressure there, but they're going to give away this dragon. It's going to be one split to each team, 27-10 the respawn there. But CLG are still holding a 2,000 gold advantage. Doublelift getting some solo lane farm. Looks like he'll be afraid now and will recall back to base. Should have enough for Bloodthirster. Indeed he does.
We'll see if that's going to be the one. So, I mean, we've talked about it before. CLG don't feel it's worth contesting that dragon sometimes because they just don't feel that the 1,000 gold is worth a possible 3 or 4 kill difference, which can turn games on their heads quite considerably. So obviously weren't super confident that they could come out on top of that fight. So they're just like quite happily, it's like, yeah, okay, you know, we're not going to get it. We've got the timer on it. We'll just keep pushing. But they didn't push on that middle turret, which I kind of expected to do. They were happy to just let Doublelift get that free farm at the top.
And you're going to see that Darian will now get the free farm at the top for himself. We'll see how this pans out. Chaps are going to play a little bit aggressive here against Genja, but Genja getting more and more scaled up. TF pops his ultimate. Looks like he's not going to go anywhere, though. Maybe they were afraid of some counter jungling, but their buffs are down. You can see some pressure in mid lane, actually. St. Vicious taking a lot of damage here from Diamonds, and Alex Ich is going to get ignited as well. Big Fat LP's there. He's going to stun Rise, but the damage output massive. St. Vicious is going to fall down. And 6-5 the kill score, and for once, CLG is not responding to a kill in mid with a kill of their own. So for the first time for more than 4 seconds, Moscow 5 in the kill lead.
Yeah, definitely. That's an interesting fact. And Alex going very aggressive, using the flash rune prison there to actually make sure that kill was completed. Meanwhile, the hotshot was hanging around down the bottom there, but he has gone back. He was trying to maybe try and find some sort of gank attempt. But now that that's happened, Diamond's immediately in that jungle. It's just like instant click. It's like, we got him, that's it, I'm off. I'm in their jungle. This is my jungle now. I am going to occupy this space. Genji, meanwhile, getting the lock on towards Chowster, being very aggressive, but he is taking shots from Doublelift. His support was actually gone. Meanwhile, the top turret has gone down. Doublelift getting the lock on again there, headbutted away by Chowster. Chowster is now become the target from Genji, and Genji continues to lay down the ultimate switch there. Don't think it's going to be enough. It's going to be a headbutt away from that one. Pulverize goes down. He actually used his ulti as well. Doublelift, meanwhile, was like a buy target that he was just trying his best to keep in there. Gosu Pepper, Nocturne has dived on him and trying to see, hasn't got vision now on Chowster, which is why he used that ulti and couldn't quite go in. They will push on this wall bottom tower, and now they're going to continue invading. You can see Diamonds, he's just like, wow, I want to take the whole jungle away from you guys.
Yeah, unluckily for him, wolves were already gone, so St. Vicious didn't get those. You're farming rather quickly. And they actually pinged where they think St. Vicious went. They actually had a ping down there, and now they see him invading towards blue, and Aurelia going to wait for him in the brush. This could get scary. Ryzen actually moving over. I'm surprised that he didn't come in for a kill there, but Saint taking a bit of damage there, down to about 2/3, despite having quite the resist stack.
So that bottom tower was taken down to about 400 hit points by the minions. Genja has just gone back and bought. And, well, actually, we're starting to see some quite tanky items coming out as well. So we can see the Randian's Omen on Udyr now, but as well as that Rabadon's Death Cap that you talked about earlier on Twisted Fate. Looking towards Aurelia, you can see Aurelia's been able to just play catch-up. 174 CS, he's actually quite far ahead now, 141 for Hotshot. So Hotshot obviously having to give up his farm for Doublelift has actually started to hamper him, because despite that advantage he had early on, he didn't really pick up too many kills. He had 2-1-2, and 0-3-1 Aurelia is just continuing to farm, and Aurelia will get stronger and stronger and stronger as the game goes on, and really is starting to get into his own. But just look at Genji, he's already strong. He's got that Glacial Shroud on there, Brutalizer he had early on, he's got the armor, so I don't think there's a great deal that Vayne can do against him at the moment. Vayne has completed that Bloodthirster though, so will be good once the late game comes, and really, you know, Vayne can be one of those crazy hyper carries late game.
And he catches that lock on Doublelift, taking a lot of damage. You can see him drop to half health from, oh my gosh, below half health from one combo, 1,000 damage dealt there. Now, to Doublelift's favor, he does have probably 20-something% lifesteal. You can see 29 actually, so it'd take about 3 seconds to fill back up. But still, the amount of burst there, and you just figure, oh, if Nocturne showed up, dead.
So middle tower will go down. Moscow 5 in there. Big Fat LP admitting defeat and backing away from that one. So top tower, middle tower, both down. Darian being very aggressive, continued to push in this top lane, and now Hotshot realizes he's got to deal with him. Genja pushes his bottom lane as well, and he will take it down, so that will be all 3 outer turrets down though, and then we're going to gank on towards top there. You can see Darian is the target. Hotshot GG will try and come in, he gets the ulti, Never Move will land, and that's going to be the stun card. Actually, it was the slow card again there. Didn't get the stun card, the Ignite is down. He has got Rise coming across to support him, and I think he will get out of that one. Very nicely played by Darian.
Yeah, that was a good flash. Actually, I thought it was a gold card. I thought it was locked up. It was kind of set over the top of the Never Move from Hotshot, yeah. So I couldn't tell quite which one was hitting. But it was actually very unfortunate they managed to layer their stuns. If I were Big Fat, I would have actually tried to, I mean, either one of them tried to wait a little bit longer on using that root or that stun, and using that extra about 1.5 seconds to get some more damage down. Just managed to flash over the wall and get away. Just very much to the dismay of CLG.
So despite that quick early start, they are suddenly on the back end of some pretty impressive invasions, and wow, okay, and we are seeing a possible Baron here, and Big Fat LP is going to put a ward straight in there and go, what the, hold on a minute, 26 minutes, this is possible. They're going to have to peel off this one. I don't think they're going to have anything to do with it, but Vayne is a long way away. You can see Doublelift desperately trying to make his way up. Udyr uses his ulti on towards St. Vicious. St. Vicious probably a pretty tanky target, but will go down eventually. Gosu Pepper, meanwhile, has Hotshot GG in the backside. Genja is going to lock on towards Big Fat LP. Is a split across. I'm going to try and follow as much as I can towards the AP carry. You can see Diamonds is going to have to avoid it. Doublelift coming in, laying down a lot of damage. It's Genja on Doublelift. Remember, we saw the damage early on. Hotshot GG, meanwhile, you can see Chowster being taken down by Darian. He will go down back towards Doublelift. Genja is going to go down, but he's already completed the GA, and suddenly he's just going to respawn. Alex Hitch continues to chase straight into a ward. And that just took him straight down. And Moscow 5 coming out very strongly in that fight. It was a 4 for 2, sorry, and they have it in them to just go back and take that round back.
And that's what they're going to do right away. You can see Darian leading the charge with Alex and Genja right behind him, and that's going to be almost definitely enough damage. You can see Alex actually walking up toward the Baron so that he will tank that. By the way, when the Baron attacks you, it drops your attack damage by half. And so if you're a mage and you can suck it up, you should tank the Baron so that an AD champion like Aurelia cannot suffer that debuff. So some nice little mechanical knowledge there, and just teamwork there by Moscow 5. And for you Cassiopeia players out there, remember that one.
All 5 got that.
Oh wow, they respawned in time?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Which is not good for CLG. So Moscow 5, despite having a pretty tricky start, they did trade blow for blow, but now obviously it was Diamonds that picked up the kills rather than Rise in the middle, which would have been the ideal champion. They have managed to pull themselves back into this, and Aurelia, you know what, better nerf Aurelia because he's still very strong in this game. Coming through, Gosu Pepper warding out, and they are going to try and take this dragon away. And Moscow 5 are very good at pushing the advantage once they feel it's there.
Yep, and they're just sort of scaling and scaling throughout this game. Now, the one good chance for CLG, though, is, again, they have Vayne, and Vayne, as far as a damage threat goes, does scale much, much better than Urgot. However, Urgot brings a lot of utility here, and again, you know, pointing back to what happened in CLG versus Dignitas, is good and bad swaps could make fights happen. And CLG has champions like Alistair who really just want to get swapped, and if he makes that mistake, they can throw a team fight right away. And as we saw Dignitas and Against All Authority, you can throw games very easily in a best of 3. So, you know, so there's no real guarantee on winners right now at all. Doublelift continuing to scale up through this game is going to be very, very scary. So Darian actually making a move there up on a Doublelift, going to take a lot of damage. Doublelift pops his ultimate. Oh my gosh, the damage of it from Aurelia is massive. See if he can make any more moves here to get away. Doublelift's going to... Oh, he jukes across the brush. Darian can't find him yet. His Condemned still 12 seconds away, but Nocturne shows up. And that's not going to be enough for him. Nice pickup there.
A big sigh from the crowd. He's like, you got away. Oh. Well, so Moscow 5 now realize they have that 4-5 advantage. The AD carry down. They're going to try and push their pressure in towards the middle, but Darian is continuing to have to farm up that lane down the bottom there. So they are only in a 4-on-4. Will they be able to push on? Hotshot GG will be able to clear them lanes as well as Big Fat LP. So they will be easily clearing these lanes. And I don't quite think they're quite confident enough to do a full tower dive yet. They have the advantage, but it's not a huge advantage just yet. 11-7, you can see the gold advantage is in Moscow 5's favor. 30 minutes into this game, they are going to switch straight towards this bottom lane. That's why Darian was continuing to push it. And you know what? CLG going to have to give up on this one. They were too late to move across. The rotation from Moscow 5 as well now as we go towards the middle lane. Diamond's trying to use his speed advantage that he gets. So Ward will tell them they're going straight across, but they will lose the second inner turret as well. CLG not going to get in position in time to defend this one, so they're going to have to just sit back in that base and hope that Moscow 5 don't come charging in.
Yeah, Moscow 5 actually going to... Yeah, they're actually not going to come charging in, so they're going to go ahead and clear out some of these raids.
Tutorial style, I believe, is the phrase.
Indeed, and they're just going to take pretty much everything away. They've got one more outer turret to go for. Doublelift actually waiting. Oh man, that could have been funny if he got clairvoyance there, but he's going to go back down to his turret. We're going to see if they actually try to stop Moscow 5. Nocturne in the front, really not giving many cares here.
This is a big creep wave as well.
Oh yeah, but they do have a Twisted Fate. You should be able to clear that out without too much trouble.
So here they go. They're going to go in there, and then no, they're not going to follow that creep wave in. Thought they might go for it this time, but going to play it carefully. Bottom wave is going to push itself. Top middle lane is going to need a clearance, but Doublelift's going to get straight down and clear out that bottom wave. So Moscow 5, they have picked up 3 turrets so far with that Baron. The Baron buff is only got about 30 seconds left on it. Oh, a flash ulti from Genja there actually was cancelled out because through the cleanse, I think it was. Quicksilver Sash. It was that managed to use it. So Hotshot GG managing to get out of that one. So I would expect actually Moscow 5 probably going to back away from this one now and just clear out the jungle.
Yeah, but they're going to actually clear out that blue buff. Let's see if they give it... I mean, it could go to Genja. He doesn't really need the mana, but it seems neither does Rise, so sure, it's going to be on Urgot. He'll enjoy that extra, looks like 15% cooldown reduction from his regular build. We'll see. Big Fat LP does have Lich Bane, so he is scaling throughout this game. 274 minions, actually the highest in the game. Second place, actually, is Aurelia. So the two that got picked on the most are farming the hardest, which is actually pretty excellent by those players to not lose heart and not lose focus and get themselves into a late game threatening scenario. And again, CLG, pretty good masters of late game. Vayne going to scale really, really well. Alistair always going to be a big threat there. That exhaust is going to scale throughout the game. They have a Twisted Fate ultimate, which will do really good things for them as well. They can get these split pushes going. CLG have done that a lot as well. They've employed a split pushing strategy before to great effect here. St. Lucia is actually going to do that right now and hope he doesn't get caught out by Aurelia and Nocturne. Doublelift desperately wants some levels though.
And let's just have a quick look at the ward coverage, because CLG have been forced back a little bit. They have managed to get out and get those wards in the river. Just keeping my eye to see whether they manage to catch out Gosu Pepper, because that's really what they're going to have to. Anyone that's just sneaking out, trying to get those wards down, you can see he's going with that Zeeks as well, or Starks, I'm going to forever call it, I'm afraid. It's so Gosu Pepper being an interesting support with that, and it's something we don't always see, especially on a Janna.
Yeah, normally you see that rush for Shurelya's, but it seems that Moscow 5 doesn't want that rush in and catch them sort of thing, because there's a lot of really good crowd controls from CLG, so instead grabbing Zeeks because he's got 2 bruises on that team. Actually, no, 3, I take that back, because they've got sort of Urgot, Janna, and Nocturne all really wanting attack speed and lifesteal. And that's a good way to buff up your team is, yeah, we can all move fast, or we can do way more damage than you.
Just keeping my eye on Darian. He's going to get surely caught out here. St. Vicious has managed to get into Twisting Fate is going to come in. He's flashed in towards Baron Pit. Did get stun guarded, but he gets away from it. Nicely used there. And you can see that CLG were collapsing around him, and he wisely got out of it. And that's going to give Moscow 5 the impetus to push straight up the middle there. And Aurelia is going to come across, and he's actually working his way back up towards the top there. Hotshot GG is teleporting back towards base, but they're going to get onto a bit of damage on towards this middle turret before CLG can get in and respond. Will it be enough? I think Moscow 5 will probably peel away from this one. Yeah, and wisely so, because see Big Fat LP puts them wild cards out and quickly clears off the stack.
The minions are back once more, but CLG very much ready for it. Particularly ability power build up pretty well for these champions. Hotshot, 240 AP. They've pinged over. They know that Moscow 5 are over to the left-hand side by Wraiths. Baron should be in the pretty near future as well. CLG grouped up as 5, and there's Genja up in the front. Could they go for this one? Is going to go in for the fight. Actually whiffs all the roots there. Now Genja in the front taking all the damage. Nocturne goes up on Big Fat LP. He's going to get pushed back a little bit. No, Big Fat's still getting down to half health. Chaucer pushed away as well. Diamond taking so much damage from Vayne. They can't get that kill. There's a swap up on a double. No, not going to pick it up. There's the kill right there. Now on to Genja, but double to half health, down to 1/3. Gets dropped by Genja. Genja still at half HP. Big Fat LP getting pushed around. Alex now getting very, very low. Can Saint pick up that kill? Diving in. No, will get dropped down. Alex still not falling, but now it's going to be Chaucer trading up that kill. Hotshot now left alone against 2. And this is pretty bad for him. He's out of mana, getting chased down with a red buff Urgot. Looks like Hotshot going to fall. Ace picked up there by Moscow 5. 5-3 in that fight. 16-10 overall. And they're going to keep pushing in towards that base.
There was a very close team fight there until they finally actually focused on Doublelift. He was doing a lot of damage, really wrecking them in there. The Nocturne went down very quickly. I thought for a moment CLG might be able to turn out the team fight, but with Genja still alive, and obviously you wouldn't want to focus him. He got the Guardian's Angel up. He would have just respawned. He's very tanky, so he is causing some big problems for CLG here, and they will take this inhibitor down before any of CLG manage to get out there and defend it. You can see that Alistair and Vayne now up, but that's and Moscow 5 going to pick that up and just back away. And Baron has just spawned in time, so I guess the next fight will be over towards it. Can they get any wards towards it? Because ward coverage just kind of fell away while that big team fight was going on there. Doublelift being very aggressive. He's got to be careful not to go on towards Genja there.
Yeah, thankfully he has a Quicksilver Sash, so if he went for the cleanse, he could break out of it. This is pretty much a trademark Doublelift build. Even if he's not fighting against the suppression, gets that Bloodthirster and a Phantom Dancer, and then the Quicksilver Sash, stacking with cleanse. But the problem is you can't cleanse death, and Aurelia has been dishing that out quite a lot in these last 2 fights. She has caused pretty much all of Doublelift's deaths now in this mid to late game, and CLG actually pushing for it as the AD carrying support are out of the way, so they might pressure this to try to pull into a fight. I don't know if they know it's a 3v5 right now though, and looks like they've allowed themselves to get pushed back by M5. They're going to Shurelya's in. They're not going to catch anyone though. That would have been a great opening for CLG. Again, a 5v3 would have been the best time for them to actually get some kills.
Yeah, definitely would have been a very good catch, because Genja was long gone, and they would have certainly picked up a couple of kills. And for a moment I thought Alex was actually going to go up north, and I thought that would be the death. But now Moscow 5 going in there. Neither of them have oracles, so neither of them have any vision of these wards that are in there. Now Gosu Pepper does come in here. That oracle pops it, clears it out, and Moscow 5, well, Can they pick up this Baron before CLG can get him to react? They're going to peel out in a moment. You can see Genja just getting ready to ulti, and it was Hotshot. And again, he Quicksilver slashed it away. So Genja managed to lose that ulti on towards him to try and catch on his double lift. Double lift got knocked and diving on him. Double lift cleanses away. Tries to get away from it as much as he can, but he does get picked off there. Hotshot GG also taken down. And now Moscow 5 looking like they are in the stronger position. St. Vicious will eventually go down. Chowster now the last man standing. That ulti is not going to help. And Moscow 5 pick up a clean ace and storm in towards the pace. The first game is almost certainly going to go to Moscow 5. The Russian team have turned up and continued on their dominance. They have not dropped a single game in the World Championship so far. We are in the semi-finals. It is a best of 3, but they are continuing on from Kiev.
Yeah, and this is a phenomenal job so far. It's going to be up, if they want to continue Kiev's performance, it'll take the grand finals to drop a map. This game 1 going to theirs in not the most convincing fashion, but a very hard-fought win. Great job to Moscow 5. There they are on your screen right there. 1-0 in this semifinal. They're going to have to go for another one, though, and that was incredibly close. The ganks up top were pretty hardful, and, you know, they managed to squeak out a late game, but this is definitely anyone's